What if that quiet, persistent feeling of not being enough isn't a sign of weakness, but the miscalibrated signal of a powerful engine? What if the very thing you perceive as a flaw is actually the gateway to a level of mental fortitude that 99% of men will never experience? Today, we are not just talking about self-doubt. We are dissecting it. We are exposing its root mechanism and replacing it with a Stoic framework for unshakable inner certainty. This is the knowledge that separates the man who is controlled by the world from the man who commands his inner world. It's a distinction that most will hear, but only the top 1% will truly understand and implement. Before we begin, I want you to answer one question in the comments. What is the one situation where you feel that not enough feeling the most? Be honest, we're about to dismantle it. Let's be clear, this feeling of inadequacy is not a personal failure. It is a feature of the modern world, meticulously engineered. You live in an age of infinite comparison. Every screen you look at presents a distorted reality of someone else's highlight reel, designed to make you question your own progress, your own worth. The culture sells you a constantly shifting definition of success, an impossible standard of what a man should be. Be dominant, but be sensitive. Be ambitious, but be present. Be invulnerable, but be open. This psychological crossfire creates a constant low-grade hum of anxiety. It's not a loud screaming alarm. It's a quiet poison, a subtle whisper during a crucial meeting, a moment of hesitation before a big decision, a corrosive aftertaste to your own achievements. This feeling is a prison with invisible bars, and most men die without ever realizing they were captive. Our task today is to not only see the bars, but to dissolve them. 1. The great deception of modern man. The first and most critical error, the one that 99% of men make, is mistaking a feeling for a fact. That quiet sense of not being enough arrives in your mind, and you treat it like an objective report. You accept it as evidence. You believe it is a true reflection of your capabilities, your character, your worth. But a feeling is not a fact. A thought is not truth. It is merely a neurological weather pattern passing through your consciousness. The Stoic mind does not deny the weather. It does not pretend the storm isn't there. Instead, it builds a shelter of reason so strong that the storm can rage outside without ever touching the man inside. The first step to power is to sever the link between feeling and identity. You are not your anxiety. You are the one who observes it. 2. The dichotomy of control as your first weapon. Once you see the feeling as just a feeling, you must immediately apply the foundational tool of Stoic power, the dichotomy of control. This isn't an abstract philosophical idea. It is the most practical mental razor you will ever possess. You simply ask, is this within my control or outside of it? The initial arising of the feeling of inadequacy, that is outside your control. It's a programmed response from years of conditioning. Your reaction to it, your judgment of it, the meaning you assign to it, that is 100% within your control. The average man wastes his entire life fighting the initial feeling, trying to suppress it, arguing with it, feeling ashamed of it. The Stoic-minded man lets the feeling arise, observes it without judgment, and focuses all his energy on the only thing that matters, his chosen response. This is where your freedom begins. 3. Deconstructing your inner critic, that voice telling you you're not enough. It sounds like you. It uses your memories and your vocabulary, but it is not you. It is a psychological parasite, a collection of recorded fears, past criticisms from others, and societal narratives you have unconsciously internalized. The Stoic approach is not to fight this voice, but to depersonalize it. Give it a name if you must. See it as a radio station that's always on, broadcasting static. You cannot shut the station down, but you can choose not to tune in. When it speaks, you simply note, "Ah, the static is playing again." You do not argue with it. You do not debate its points. You simply acknowledge its presence and turn your attention to what is real, to what is in your control. your next action. This act of disidentification is a profound source of power. 4. The practice of objective representation. The ancient Stoics had a term for this, phantasia, cataleptic. It translates roughly to objective representation. It means stripping an event or a thought of the emotional, subjective layer you've wrapped around it. For instance, you get passed over for a promotion. The average man's mind creates a story. I wasn't good enough. They see my flaws. My career is over. The Stoic mind practices objective representation. Another individual was selected for the role. That's it. That is the only fact. Everything else is a story, a self-imposed layer of suffering. By refusing to add this dramatic narrative, you starve the feeling of inadequacy. It has no fuel. You are left only with the facts, and from a place of factual clarity, you can make powerful, rational decisions about your next move. 5. The reversal of desire. The modern world trains you to desire external validation, a like on social media, a compliment from your boss, the approval of a woman. This is the source of your fragility. Your sense of self-worth is outsourced to things you cannot control. The Stoic cure is a radical reversal of desire. You must train yourself to desire only what is within your control, your own virtue, your own excellence of character, your integrity, your discipline, your courage. When your primary desire is to act with virtue in any given situation, you become invincible. Did you get the promotion? It doesn't matter as much as, did I perform my work with excellence? Did I handle the news with dignity? When your self-worth is tied to your own actions, not the outcomes, you reclaim your power completely. 6. The obstacle is the way. The feeling of not being enough is not your enemy. It is your training partner. Every time it appears, it is an opportunity to practice these principles. The Stoic does not pray for an easy life. He prays for the strength to endure a difficult one. When you feel inadequate before a presentation, this is not a sign to retreat. It is a signal to prepare more diligently, to practice your delivery, to embody courage. The very obstacle that triggers the feeling of inadequacy becomes the raw material for building the virtue that counteracts it. The average man sees the obstacle and stops. The superior man sees the obstacle and understands that the path through. It is the only way to become stronger. He uses the friction to sharpen his blade. 7. Negative visualization. The antidote to anxiety. Much of the not enough feeling is rooted in a fear of future failure. You're afraid you won't be enough to handle a potential negative outcome. The Stoics used a powerful technique called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. You spend a few minutes each morning thinking about what could go wrong. You could lose your job, your project could fail, you could be rejected. But you don't stop there. You then vividly imagine yourself handling these situations with calm, with reason, with virtue. By mentally rehearsing adversity, you strip it of its power to shock and destabilize you. You build a psychological immunity to fear. It transforms anxiety from a paralyzing force into a strategic problem to be solved, making you feel profoundly more capable and prepared. 8. The power of the present moment. Self-doubt lives in two places: the past, through regret, and the future, through anxiety. It cannot survive in the present moment, when your mind is fully focused on the task at hand, writing the email, lifting the weight, having the conversation. There is no mental space for the not enough narrative. The Stoic discipline of attention, or prosos, is about anchoring your mind in the here and now. The simple act of focusing on your breath for 60 seconds can sever the chains of anxious thought. Your power is not in your past or your future. It is exclusively in the quality of your attention to the present. Control your attention, and you control your reality. The man who can command his focus is the man who cannot be mentally broken. 9. Your character is your fate. The modern world tells you that your fate is determined by your circumstances, your luck, your connections. The Stoics knew this was a lie, designed for the weak. The truth is, Your character is your fate. It is the sum of your choices, your habits, your responses. Every time you choose a disciplined action over an easy impulse, you're forging your character. Every time you face discomfort with courage instead of avoidance, you are building your fate. The feeling of not being enough dissolves when you focus not on becoming enough for some external standard, but on building a character of impeccable integrity. You stop chasing a feeling and start building a reality. A man of strong character does not need to feel enough. He simply is. 10. Differentiating opinion from truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This includes the opinions generated by your own mind. That thought, "I am not smart enough for this," is not a fact. It is an internal opinion. That criticism from a colleague is their perspective, not the absolute truth. The ability to create this separation is a superpower. It allows you to process information, both internal and external, without being emotionally hijacked by it. You can hear criticism without feeling crushed. You can have a negative thought without believing it. This creates a buffer of peace and rationality around you, an intellectual fortress where you alone decide what is true and what is merely noise. 11. The inner scorecard versus the outer scorecard. Most men live their lives according to an outer scorecard. Their sense of value is determined by their job title, their bank account, the car they drive. This is a game you can never win, because the goalposts are always moving, and they are set by others. The Stoic lives by an inner scorecard. The only questions that matter are, was I honest today? Was I disciplined? Did I act with courage? Did I treat others with justice? When you measure yourself by this internal metric, a metric entirely within your control, the feeling of not being enough becomes irrelevant. You are no longer competing in the world's chaotic and meaningless game. You are competing against your own potential. You are focused on becoming a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. This is the only competition that builds true, lasting self-worth. 12. Amor fati, the love of your fate. This is one of the most advanced and powerful Stoic concepts. It goes beyond mere acceptance of your circumstances. It is the practice of actively loving everything that happens to you, not just the good, but especially the bad. The challenge that makes you feel inadequate is not an unfortunate event. It is the perfect event, designed specifically for you to teach you the exact lesson you need to learn. This mindset transforms every setback from a source of suffering into a source of strength. You do not just tolerate your life, you embrace it, affirm it, and demand that nothing be different. A man who can genuinely say, "I would not have it any other way," about his own struggles is a man who cannot be defeated. 13. The view from above. When you are trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, your world shrinks to the size of your own anxieties. The Stoics practiced an exercise called the view from above. You imagine yourself floating up, looking down on your house, then your city, then your country, then the entire planet Earth as a small marble in the vastness of space. From this perspective, you see your problem for what it is, infinitesimally small. Your anxieties, your fears about not being enough, are put into their proper cosmic context. This isn't meant to make you feel insignificant, but to liberate you from the tyranny of insignificant worries. It restores perspective, which is the parent of tranquility. It reminds you that your internal drama is not the center of the universe. 14. The company you keep. The Stoics were clear that you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. If you are surrounded by men who complain, who gossip, who are defined by their external validation and their anxieties, your own not enough feeling will be amplified. It will seem normal. To build a Stoic mind, you must curate your environment. Seek out individuals who embody the virtues you admire: discipline, resilience, rationality. Limit your exposure to negativity and emotional chaos. This is not about arrogance. It is about strategic self-preservation. Your mind is a garden. You cannot expect to grow strong oaks if you are constantly allowing others to plant weeds in it. Choose your company as you would choose your books, with intention and for the purpose of growth. 15. Action as the ultimate clarifier. Self-doubt thrives in inaction and overthinking. You can sit and analyze your feeling of inadequacy for years and get nowhere. Action, on the other hand, is a clarifying agent. It provides immediate feedback. You feel you're not enough to start a business. The only way to find out is to take the first small, concrete step. Register the name. Make the first call. Write the first line of code. The man of action doesn't have time for prolonged self-doubt because he is engaged with reality. He is solving problems. Often, you will find that the monster of inadequacy you feared was merely a shadow. Taking action, even small action, is the most powerful way to rewrite the script in your mind from I am not enough to I am capable of figuring this out. 16. The reserve clause. The Stoic approaches every goal with a reserve clause. You commit fully to your actions, but you accept that the ultimate outcome is not in your hands. You say, I will win this contract, fate permitting, or I will build this body if nothing prevents me. This is not a lack of commitment, it is the highest form of it. It separates your effort, which you control, from the result, which you do not. This protects your inner peace. If you succeed, you know it was because of your efforts aligned with fortune. If you fail, you feel no crushing self-doubt because you did everything within your power. Your self-worth remains intact. You are judged by your process, not the outcome. This frees you to be ambitious without being emotionally fragile. 17. The definition of a good life. What is the goal? The modern world tells you the goal is happiness, a fleeting and uncontrollable emotion, or wealth, an external that can be taken away. The Stoic goal is different. The goal is eudaimonia. It is not a feeling, but a state of being. It is the state of a human flourishing, living in accordance with their highest nature, with reason and virtue. The goal is to be a good man, regardless of circumstances. When your aim shifts from feeling good to being good, the feeling of not being enough loses its power. You are no longer chasing an emotional state. You are engaged in the lifelong project of building an excellent character. This is a profound and stabilizing purpose that external events cannot touch. 18. Contempt for what is contemptible. Many of the things that make men feel not enough are, upon rational inspection, contemptible. The envy of an influencer's lifestyle, the desperate need for approval from strangers online, the fear of not owning the latest status symbol. The Stoic mind cultivates a healthy contempt for these shallow pursuits. You must see them for what they are, distractions from the real work of building your character. By consciously devaluing these external metrics, you rob them of their power to make you feel inadequate. You are playing a different game, with a different set of rules, for a prize of infinitely greater value, your own inner freedom and integrity. 19. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. This is not a morbid thought, it is an energizing one. The constant awareness of your own mortality is a powerful filter for what truly matters. In the face of your limited time on this earth, is the fear of what others think truly important? Is your subtle feeling of not being enough a worthy use of your precious, finite consciousness? Or is it more important to act, to build, to love, to live with virtue? Remembering death strips away the non-essential. It clarifies your priorities. It forces you to ask, if this were my last day, would I allow this feeling of inadequacy to stop me from doing what I know is right? The answer is almost always no. Use this urgency to fuel your courageous action. 20. The inner citadel. This is the culmination of all these practices. Your mind, through consistent training, becomes an inner citadel, a fortress of reason and tranquility that no external event can breach. The world can throw chaos at you, criticism, failure, loss, uncertainty, but inside the walls of your citadel, you remain calm, rational, and in command. The feeling of not being enough can howl outside the walls like the wind, but it cannot get in. It cannot touch the commander of the fortress. This is not a metaphor. It is a neurological reality you build, one virtuous choice at a time. This is the ultimate goal of the Stoic path. Not a life free from problems, but a life where you are psychologically stronger than any problem you will ever face. So that quiet feeling, it never truly goes away. And that is the final secret. The goal was never to silence it. The goal was to change your relationship with it, to see it not as a judge delivering a verdict, but as a compass needle, shivering with energy. You now have the tools to hold that compass steady, to use its energy, and to navigate by the fixed stars of your own reason and virtue. Your worth is not determined by your feelings or by external achievements. It is forged in the quality of your judgments and the integrity of your actions. That is the only metric that matters. Walk away from this video knowing this. You possess the internal architecture for profound mental strength. You just needed the blueprint. Now you have it. Thank you for investing your time with us. If this resonated, subscribe to join the 1%. This is not a channel, it's an armory for the mind. For the few who made it to the end, what is the one Stoic principle from this video that you will apply this week? Share it below. Let's hold each other accountable.